They were doing standing laps yesterday over 1:54, so he's even picked up the pace there. So only got a little bit of a gap on Fletcher, a 0.8 of a second gap. Fletcher running in the 53 as a Beekoff, but as we said, that's a starting or a standing lap. Yesterday they were averaging the top guys in the 146s and a couple of the 147s. So we can look forward to those kind of times next time around.
Oh, major lock up there from that yellow car. Just missed the number there because coming to that turn.
Yeah, these guys are still sort of settling these cars down, starting to pick up a few places. The 32 car coming through there is actually the car Bruce Toole. Now Bruce had to replace a brake booster since yesterday. He started 13th on the grid. This morning he had to start at 22. So keep your eye on that car, the number 32 car. It's going to work its way up through the field.
They're sitting pretty flat through the corners. Also, they have certain suspension modifications they can do, and obviously that is working well because there's not a great deal of drama going through those bends.
No, and they've had a lot of time to sort this category out. It's been sort of in the pipeline for 12 to 18 months, and they've worked really hard to get the regulations even and sort it all out so that once these guys hit the track, there's no surprises. Makes a huge difference.
There's certainly some very, as you said, close racing, a lot of people there, but no Biff and Barge. Oh, as I speak, no Biff and Barge coming into that hairpin.
What did you say that for?
I shouldn't have mentioned that, Anne, I'm sorry.
Well, with these guys with the speed so close, we're going to have to expect a little bit of close racing. They're not going to want to do too much damage to those cars. They want them to look good, but of course, it's a racing incident, and it happens. You've got one guy going very, very wide as he comes onto the start-finish straight. They're certainly working on the limits of these cars and having a lot of fun. Oh,
superb power slide from that red car. Who is that, Anne? Just get his number. Number 9.
Number 9. I looked through my number list, which is on the other sheet. That's the car of Vince Gatt.
Vince Gatt, yeah.
Yeah, Vince is an ex-HQ guy and moved over to the Falcons.
A good car control there, Range. It's completely sideways around that corner.
He took one look at pit wall and said, straighten.
I think so.
As you can see, they're using all sorts of lines, spreading themselves right across the track. Last night in the under lights, they looked great with the lights and just the glow sort of standing out. It looked really, really good. And
obviously not an expensive category either. If people want to have a bash at this, they can have a go.
Well, I've heard of one person who's put their car together for 12,000, and the average is between 15 and 20. Obviously, this guy could do a lot of his own work. An average between 15 and 20, which is a great amount to get into.
I have to ask this, any ex-taxis out there?
I don't know, they might have a bit much bog in the...
Gee, Heinrich must have been impressive, Anne.
Yeah, he did really well last night, and it's just settled down again. Actually, this is impressive. Looking at the times, we're down into the 145s, 144s. So these are new records. Leon Fletcher is just blitzing them, putting it down into a 144.81. And 3 of the other guys, Heinrich, Beekoff and Jamison, underneath yesterday's lap record. But being a new category, as we said, they're going to continue to set records for the whole weekend.
Now, Anne, we see a lot of guys here. Any ladies in this category?
There is. There's a lady called Narelle McGaffin who's out there today. She's running in car number 63. We were to have another lady, Christine Lyon, who's a local HQ driver, but unfortunately her car wasn't ready, so she couldn't be with us this weekend. Just picking up a few of those guys. Matt Close is one who I said to keep an eye out. He's moved up into 5th place at the moment. I'm just looking. Bruce Heinrich is moving back through the field. I don't know. I haven't seen him on the screen, but he is moving a long way back.
17th spot. Where is he? Oh,
and still dropping.
Yeah,
so I have a nasty
there,
feeling Bruce is sitting on the side of the track somewhere.
Gee.
But keep an eye on that screen. Hasn't come through to complete that lap. So that will be a huge disappointment for the whole team. But we should, in that case, congratulate Leon Fletcher. His car is still out there and running.
Yes.
Current record holder, as he said, with the 144s. Beekoff and Jamison are very close behind him, so that's a pretty close battle in there. And you look through the field, and there's sort of gaps of 0.5 of a second, 0.6 of a second. And when you try and measure that, it's a very tiny gap. Put it on the racetrack, maybe about a car's length at the most.
They're spreading out a bit now, aren't they? They're sort of almost a quarter of the way around there.
Just might mention too that we'll be joined by Vern Schuppen very shortly, and Vern will be chatting to us about the Le Mans demo, which is coming up just after 11 o'clock. Looking forward to that. Chris Peru won't join us, but if you look into the heavens just after 11 o'clock. He'll be in his little plane doing a wonderful aerobatic display. Chris is just extraordinary. He is the best in the business and puts on a great show. And at about 11:20, folks, we'll have the Logical Mirage Series Race 1. That's the first race. That's over 8 laps. And then at a tick over 11:30, the Roulette's flying display, and that is once again going to be absolutely spectacular as far as air displays are concerned. We'll be speaking with Matthew White, who is our national presenter of sports tonight, and he will join us in the broadcast box. Formula Holden Race 1 15 lapper at about 11:50, about 10 to 12, and then we've got heaps between then and 2 o'clock, and smack bang on 2 o'clock is the Clipsal 500 Adelaide first race over 78 laps, so plenty to look forward to.
I say, Anne, Osgo, they're using the curb and going over the curb in most of these corners, and most exuberant cornering, especially coming onto the pit straight here. That grass is very, very close to those tyres.
Yeah, they're being, I think they're actually being quite generous this weekend. Often with a track that's got curbs like that, they will get the jumping the curb sign, which means if you keep on doing it, you can technically be black flagged. So we're lucky that they're not being black flagged for that. We'll have to check. There's actually also a car out there that's blowing a little bit of smoke, so we'll have to see if we can keep an eye on him. I don't know whether he'll be black flagged and sent in for that, because we don't want any oil trails on the track today.
That was race control, and I'm learning all the time, Anne. The gentleman said race control, and I said yes, it's Mark Aston. And he
How
said,
do you do?
And he said meatball car 100. I said, what the heck does that mean?
That means he's in trouble.
Yeah, could you explain that, Anne, for us, please?
Yeah, meatball is your black. Oh, I've lost my little
Black
picture
flag.
here. Black flag with an orange dot on it, and it's normally for being a naughty boy, basically.
Yep.
It's sort of technically a bad sportsmanship type.
So it is car 100. Let's update everyone on that.
Actually, I'll double check that in case I have got the wrong ones, because
That
we
is
don't
a
want to
very
be telling.
hectic corner up there. We're just looking at them again, coming back onto the main pit straight here. Everybody is sideways now, getting very taily, and the grass is mere inches from those tyres. Trying to track down that car that was blowing some smoke before the bright yellow. I think it was the Falcon. On the Clipsal Super screen, showing you all the action. We haven't seen Bruce Heinrich. As we said, he was leading and his parity dropped out, but we haven't spotted him anywhere on the track. A mechanical problem for his car.
Now I must apologise, I did get it wrong. The black and orange, which we call the meatball, is for a car that's got a problem likely to endanger the driver or others. Okay. So I would take a guess it's the car that was blowing the smoke, so I'll be trying to get rid of him.
So who is it actually?
100 is the car of Ricky Pichu.
Great. So we've got everyone up to date on that.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Now, Mark, this is a category you'd be like to drive into.
Peter, you keep doing that.
I think you're motoring. You're hiding your motoring interest, and you should be out there doing something.
No,
like
they go
this,
too
mate.
quick for me, Peter. They go far too quick for me. And Fletcher's going quick. He's at 1:44.8, and he's not doing too badly.
No, he's sitting there hiding out in front. So on lap 5, we've got Fletcher, as we said, out in front with Beekoff, Jamison, Beasley, Ward, Newton, Close, Loney, Gatt and Norris taking out the top 10. So we've got Fletcher just coming across. He will have completed 6 laps. We're receiving the last lap board. And at this stage, Beekoff and Jamison will be watching that gap, thinking, here's my last chance. If I want to be standing up there as number 1 on the podium, not 2 or 3, I really have to make the big push now. Fletcher stood up there yesterday. He came in 2nd, and Jamison came in 3rd. So Fletcher will be pleased with that. He'll need to hang it all together and really concentrate on what's happening out on the track. You can see the cars, there's some great battles coming through. Lots of really good close pairings out there. So I think CSA will be fairly impressed with the performance these guys are putting in. A couple of other guys that really worked hard is a guy called Newton. And Newton started out 8th yesterday, ended up today at about 14th, and has moved back up to 6th. So these guys will, for their next race, which is later on today, they will restart in those grid positions. So position is all, as we have heard that expression.
Yep. Okay, so an update there, Anne?
Yeah, well, we still have Fletcher. He hasn't been able to improve on that 1.44, but that's a great time to be getting down to. And both Beekoff, Jamison and Beasley are also under that record. They're running in the 145s. Got a few cars like Newton and Loney running in 46s, and a great group of Ward, Close, let's see who else there, Gatt, Norris and Sip running in the 47s. But our lead car now coming down around the hairpin, so put your hands together, guys. These have put on a great race, and for those of you who are the Commodore supporters, we've got Leon Fletcher in the Commodore, who's going to come across in first place. Going to be 29 with Shane Beekoff, also in a Commodore, so they're running ahead. And 75 Sean Jamison, third Commodore. So Holdens have taken out first three places today. The rest of the groups will come through. We've got Beasley, who came in fourth placing, Ward and Newton fifth and sixth. We'll have just double check of our screen. We've got Close and Loney, both local drivers are the next two places, then Gatt. And I think we should have the car of Norris, and that'll be our top 10. So that's the second of our, actually no, I'm wrong, it's Jay Young who managed to get in there. It's good to see Tim Sipp, who's, I'm just hoping he's going to finish through because he's had some problems earlier. But a great race, the second of our CSA Wheels Saloon Car Australia Challenge, and we can look forward to seeing those guys later again this afternoon. I'm going to look at my timetable. I think it's about 3:30ish, I think, this afternoon.
Here we go, Anne. I've got a timetable right here.
Oh, I've got to decipher this one. 4:30.
4:30. Thank you, Anne.
I can't work. I'd never be any good in the armed forces. I can't work out those times.
Well, you spent 2 years in the armed forces about 9 years ago, and you decided you didn't like it, so you've decided to change direction.
Yeah.
Good on you, Anne. Thanks for that. Fantastic. So Peter Sillon heading down to the podium now for the podium presentation for the CSA Wheels Saloon Car Australia Challenge second race. That one was over.
That was race 2, yep.
Yep, over the 7 laps. We're looking forward to hearing from Sir Jack Brabham and his 3 sons very shortly, and Vern Schuppen about to join us, and Paul Ryan as well. Paul is looking after the media aside of the media for the Le Mans, which is coming up on New Year's Eve, and we'll have a very quick chat to Paul in just a moment. Welcome along, Paul.
G'day, Mark. How are we?
We're very, very well indeed, and what a huge race this is going to be on New Year's Eve.
Well, it's going to be fantastic, Mark. If you look at what a wonderful crowd and what a wonderful facility we've got here on the streets of Adelaide. But when you consider, come New Year's Eve, a 4 o'clock start, 6-hour race, 40 of the finest sports cars from around the world.
Yep.
And as we saw a bit of a glimpse last night with the GTP cars, and again this evening, one of the